is number 47, bringing you this very patriotic 4th of July episode of After Hours with TC, Restani, TC, Abby, Bittman, and Quincy are huge. God bless you all. Sit back and enjoy, and God bless the USA.
Sit back, strap in, and get ready for After Hours with TC Restani. This is Abigail Harwich, executive producer, welcoming you to the show. And now, TC Restani!
Alrighty there. Welcome to the After Hours of TC Restani, the podcast. I'm TC Restani, emanating from the, where you guessed it, the palatial podcast penthouse for another fun-filled episode of After Hours. I'm going to go around the horn and introduce my esteemed panel of experts, starting on my immediate left, the QB, the milkman himself, Quincy Briscoe. What's going on, Q-man?
Nothing much. How about you?
All right, how are you?
All right. I couldn't help noticing everyone started to talk a little bit about the 4th of July that's coming up.
Right.
Fireworks and...
My favorite holiday.
And what makes it, if you might... But before we ask that question, we'll introduce...
You know the pattern very well.
He does, doesn't he?
Of course, my mentor, Mr. Ricky Bittman.
And that's me, up and away here, everybody.
Up and away, hey.
I noticed, I got to point something out, because I noticed this.
You were pointing, too.
You always mentally, I don't know whether you do this on purpose or what, or you're just lucky. Like last week, you introduced me first.
Right.
And this week, you introduce him. Do you do that? Are you conscious of that?
I am not conscious of that.
You always seem to nail it. I'm telling you. You do.
Well, if we had a third person, it would really screw me up.
That's true, but you would used to.
And of course, on assignment, South Boston Jeff.
Is somebody humming? Did you hear that?
It's him.
Oh.
Well...
Okay. Because you're just anxious. You got
Maybe
something to
that
say.
guy
Your buttons are just bursting over there, aren't they?
That's right. Well, with the help of South Boston Jeff, maybe he can tell us what makes everyone... Maybe start to look forward to the 4th of July.
That's a good question.
Is it the fireworks, or is it, what is it that makes, we know the fireworks are dangerous, they should be handled by pros.
I'm a pro.
Okay, well, if you know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Listen, I light off a lot of fireworks on 4th of July. I'll tell you, sound like a Miller High Life.
It's like, I was told, these things are expensive. You have to go out of town.
If you want the good ones, don't waste your money.
Everything with him is money.
It really
you
is,
ever notice that? You don't spend a dime, but you worry about the prices of everything.
Well, I just go, I was told something like fireworks. You have to go somewhere and buy
You go to the fireworks store.
Okay, the fireworks store. Then you order the best of...
I'm going to tell you a little secret right now.
Uh-oh.
All right.
I have never, ever bought fireworks off the floor in a fireworks store.
Let me guess. The North End?
Nope.
No.
I go to the fireworks store.
Okay.
Okay? And my fireworks displays are funded by a guy named Dinger.
Dinger.
He forfeits the money because it's at his house I put the show on.
But what do you mean by you're never buying off the floor?
Dinger sets it up for me, tells the guy I'm coming. He gives me an envelope with money in it.
Okay.
Guy takes me in the back room. This is where the fireworks guy keeps his fireworks. Okay? Now, the ones on the floor are good, but the ones that I've been lighting off the past few years, courtesy of Dinger, absolutely you would swear you're on the Esplanade. I'm not kidding.
Illegal?
Well, they're illegal where we light them off. They're not allowed in the town of Wells, Maine. That's where we go on the 4th of July, typically.
Tory Wells?
No.
Oh, sorry.
There's always something that triggers him, takes the conversation right off the tracks.
That's how good these things
What's that noise he's making?
supposedly
It's like an
are.
old wooden ghost ship over there.
Quincy, what's going on today? You need some WD-40 or something?
Sound like the Tin Man.
No, not yet.
What is this? What is that?
I'm holding this together as best I can, folks.
Not yet, anyway.
What do you got, like Quado inside you, like in Total Recall?
Not that I can tell.
So I guess your plans are going to Wells, Maine for the 4th of July.
Yes, but like I said, listen, man. If you want a good fireworks display, you got to kick with the geeks, and I'm talking big money. Some of these cakes, I call them, these big square boxes
Cakes.
of fireworks. So easily amused. Some of them can run you about $400. That's no lie.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
$400.
What could you do with $400? Sit home and mind it?
I know.
Remember the time you took the dollar out of your wallet and George Washington was like, he was going like this, like he hadn't seen the light of day in a while?
Yeah,
rubbing
I
his
remember
eyes.
that. But son tells me maybe not buy fireworks, because...
Your wallet hasn't been used so much, it squeaks. Maybe that's the noise
Is
we're
that your
hearing.
wallet? The hinge on your wallet?
It's like fireworks.
Pillsbury Doughboy.
Like I said, they're dangerous. They need to be handled by pros.
If they're mishandled, yeah. Remember the asshole a couple of years ago? Was it last year? He held it on his head.
Oh, and he blew it up.
Yeah, it killed him.
I remember that.
I have never, ever been tempted to do anything with a firework other than place it firmly on the ground, away from dwellings and people, usually on moist, wet sand, light the fuse, and get away. When I say get away, I get away.
Well, there's
Mainly because I don't want the cops to see me near it when they...
You mean you've never taken Star Wars figures and wrapped bottle rockets on it and launched Jawas?
Bottle rockets are a different thing, okay? Because we used to do that. We used to put firecrackers on those balsa wood airplanes. You'd make the airplane, after you're through playing with it, you'd tape firecrackers to the side and drop it off the hot school fire escape, and balsa wood blows up real good.
You mean you didn't do what my friend's older crazy brother used to do, catch mud carps?
No, I didn't abuse
Drill a hole in it and put
an
an M80 in there and watch it explode and have instant sushi showers?
Never heard of an animal with firecrackers.
All right, well, you obviously didn't visit West Medford in 1980.
No, I wouldn't do that. But,
So, okay.
but we're talking like some of them have great names like Godzilla, and one would have the name the Boston Strangler. You know, these Asians, they don't care. Just like these outrageous names. One was Jaws. It was great. And,
I used to have the Wicked Pisser.
That sounds great. I'd buy that.
You get that at Phantom Fireworks. I think it's a Phantom Fireworks exclusive, the Wicked Pisser.
Phantom's good, but you got to say, all right, this is nice, but I need something a little stronger.
Show me the big boy toys.
Yeah, it's like the pawn shop, that other curtain.
Aha, the beads.
Tell Glenn is.
Some of them are dumb enough to hold the fireworks in their hands.
Some of them are. You are correct.
And some of them are dumb enough, as Ricky Spitman said just now, to put the fireworks in their head and,
Never do that.
and blow their heads off. Well, if they want to commit suicide, then yeah, be my guest.
A lot of ways to do it.
Well,
but
what do you mean committing suicide? If they
Well, isn't that what you call suicide if you're putting a firework on your head?
You know what? Classification, you probably would classify it as suicide if you were stupid enough to put a firework in your mouth or in your ear, up your nose, or something dumb like that.
What kind of firework was it last year? Can you recall that he killed himself with?
It's like what I was talking about. But, these things are made to be put on the ground. And it says, face this side towards the audience. There's instructions with these. You have to follow the instructions. You have to do what it says. Nowhere does it say, if you'd like to place this on top of your head and light it, be our guest. There's none.
Like I said, if you want to be dumb enough.
I'm going to tell you, when you light these off, you can feel some of the shots. I mean,
It's an explosive. What do you
Exactly.
expect?
There's gunpowder in here. You don't. And I did say, my one of my wishes, if I should pass, when I eventually do, if people are still around to care, I want my ashes sprinkled in some fireworks, because some of them have a little unscrew thing you can, and then shoot me off the house over in Maine.
Wow.
That's such an odd request.
Yeah, you like that, huh?
Who and how do you go about doing something like that?
You got to die first.
Yeah, they got to burn you up so you're just nothing left but ashes, and then you have 16 or 24 little rockets, and you take all the lids off and you pour a little bit of a little Quincy in each one, and put the lids back, and then light the fuse. And the next thing you know, all hell's breaking loose, and you were just lighting up the atmosphere.
The bombs bursting in air.
That's one hell of a way to do it. An original way to do it.
Now, wait a minute. What are we talking about here? Because you're starting to scare me.
Well, I never heard of someone like, their ashes being...
Okay, as long as you're talking about ashes. When you keep saying how to do it, I'm just like...
Well, I never heard of, there's cremated, and then there's what do you call, what's the other way?
Embalmed?
Embalmed.
Yeah.
But I never really heard of someone having their remains put in fireworks or being shot.
Because I invented it just now.
There you go. You invented it.
I invented that one night while I was eating dinner.
Well, a lot of celebrities like from Star Trek, their ashes are in space.
Yeah. I mean, I don't need to go that high. And I don't want my ashes dumped on Fenway Park like some people. Come on, I don't care. But if somebody could ever take just a little bit, and dump them on the lawn of Graceland, that would make me happy. Where would you want your ashes dumped?
Probably the red carpet of the AVNs.
There you go.
Right,
That's a dream.
I would have said the Playboy Mansion, but it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, that's too bad.
The Playboy.
Folks, you never know what you're going to get.
Remember last 4th of July? It was me, you, and Jeff. We went down to the big 4th of July celebration. We went down to Revere Beach because we want to pay for fireworks, and we watched all the fireworks from all the different towns because you can see all of them from like
that's cool.
Winthrop, Lynn, what's that town? Swampscott, Nahant, all the other
pretty
ones.
cool.
So
I
we
like
just
that
sat down
idea.
there and just watched all going off.
And that's one of the things I love about 4th of July. I love fireworks. I also love being with the family. I love the ocean. I love the food. And I like a cold beer. And
Trick is, as long as you know when to leave, that way you don't get caught in the traffic.
everybody frets about traffic. Look, there's going to be traffic, right? Just don't sweat it, man. Just
Oh yeah, well, there's a certain time and basis on like how far you go and have the time when the fireworks are shot. When to arrive, when to leave.
Long range forecast, I'm looking here. The 4th of July next week, which is July 4th,
Friday,
is going to be sunny and 78.
That's beautiful. That is perfect. I like that.
He loves that. You know, he's going to Wells, Maine. We should go crash this party, Quince.
Come on up. We'll be there.
We
We're
may.
gonna play the music trivia game and everything.
We may actually. We may. You know, we'll see what else has been going on. Oh, she's back.
She's out of the air conditioning finally.
Maybe she wants to be put into a rocket or something. I don't know.
Smithers, there's a rocket in my.
You know what I watched on TV? You're not going to appreciate this because you have no idea what it is. But I watched Breakfast with Blassie.
Oh my God!
I
my
haven't
all-time
seen that
favorite.
in a million years. It's on. You know what? Tubi. So maybe you can watch it in a couple days. It was excellent.
Bastard, you can watch in a couple
It
days.
was
Doug,
actually-
you know what I'm talking about.
I have not seen that in 100 years. And they say at the beginning, all the actors, this is real. But I mean, it was obviously staged because Lynn Margolis, the woman he was flirting with.
I think everyone was in on that but Blassie. I don't care what anybody
think so?
says. Blassie was in on it to a degree. But when Zmuda pulled the thing out
of his nose.
that was a genuine reaction. And when he started to throw up, man, spoilers. I mean, if you haven't seen it, I mean, come on.
It's only been around for 45
Yeah.
years.
I mean, when he starts throwing up.
He's like, "You're gonna I gotta eat this ice cream. I don't have it that often, so I'm gonna finish it up." But that was disgusting. Or the thing when Andy was putting boogers in his.
Oh, geez, that like you could tell, certain things like kind of made Blassie disgusted, and that was one of them.
And he was in pro wrestling, and he used to bleed everywhere. And he probably
Yeah.
saw Andre the Giant naked, but that got him sick.
I like when Zmuda, when he walks away, there's one point like he walks away and he almost comes back, and you can see Kaufman just laugh because again, those two together,
no,
they
of
were
course.
trouble. And then Blassie's just standing there and he goes, "Oh," and he just looks over and he spits right on the carpet of the restaurant, and he said something. Did you need to do this or something? And Blassie goes, "I can't. I just spit." Whatever the hell that meant. And he goes, "Oh, I don't like that. That's sour smell." And Kaufman's like, "Yeah, that kind of makes me want to throw up." And I'm like, oh, when I first saw it, I thought Andy was going to start doing it, but he didn't. But that's...
Freddie Blassie talked about losing one of his eyes in the Boston Garden in that movie.
Got hit with an egg.
With an egg.
Yeah.
That's...
Oh, sorry.
What was that?
Little indigestion.
Was that an egg?
Losing an egg, an eye with an egg. That's
An egg isn't as soft as people
It was
think.
a hard-boiled egg. It wasn't throwing an
Even
egg
if it wasn't, an egg it hits you the right way. It's going to cause some damage.
That sucks,
Let's
really.
you know what, Quincy? Let's try that next podcast. Let's put you in just whip eggs at
We'll
your
throw
head.
an egg at you.
No, I don't.
We'll call
No.
you were a Batman fan. Wasn't Egghead on Batman?
Excellent.
Yeah, but he didn't
out of-
exactly throw the eggs at the eyes. Besides, as a rule, all of his eggs were explosives.
All those eggs were in one basket?
Well, that's what the Batman said. Don't count all your eggs in one basket. And as a rule,
She saved it for that episode, I bet.
he says that almost every episode when he deals with the eggheads. Because
There we go.
but Batman always came up with some kind of a.
That's great.
Can I pull the curtain back for one? Do we have a pen that works?
Do we
'Cause
have
I brought this from my house.
Oh, it's not our fault your
No,
pen
I'm
don't
just
work.
saying. I said, do we have one that I can use?
All right. I will go search for a pen, but let me give you a little bit of trivia.
Okay.
And don't answer until I come back. What was the name of the restaurant that Andy Kaufman and Freddie Blassie was at?
Okay. All right. I'm going to think about
You
that
continue
now.
this.
I'm going to think about that, Quincy. You like going out for breakfast?
Once a long, great while, but I don't know. It has to be a special occasion. Why do
Oh,
you-
really? Special occasion, huh?
Yeah. Well, in other words, like save your money and wait for some kind of an odd, very.
Now, you always tend to save your money.
Well, there's a rule, in today's economy, and
Thank you, TC. It's all for the good of the show.
don't just because once it's gone, it's gone.
Beautiful.
You know what? I've known you for 27, 28 years. Not once have you paid for any meal we've ever gone out and had.
He's not only proud of it, he's smug about it.
I don't boast about money. I boast about.
Boast about nothing. You don't treat your friends.
I'd have to find some kind of a big golden ticket, which I just don't seem to find.
A golden ticket. It's not like we're going to some fun, some like Morton Steakhouse. All right, we're going to little burger joints and friggin' pizza places, and you've never ever coughed up, not even for a slice of pizza.
Slip TC a sawbuck. Say, TC, thanks.
What are you gonna say about that?
We'll talk more about money another time.
Oh, that's right. Tax season is over, I guess. But, we can talk about it. You know why? Because the new fiscal year begins on July 1st.
What's that?
It's the money thing, the
Fiscal for who? Us?
Well, no, everybody. It's a fiscal year.
Is that really for? I thought that was like people pick their fiscal years.
No. Fiscal year begins on July 1st and ends on June 30th.
I never knew that.
You ever notice when the governments do their this is fiscal year 26, even though we're still in calendar year 25.
What is fiscal? I don't.
It's about money, something you don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
So,
I don't.
We can't talk about it till the next time, I guess.
Are you in a fiscal deficit over there?
Yeah. Are you in the red?
I have to find out what all these things mean.
All right. It's just another excuse not to cough off a buck.
Yeah.
I have to
won't
find
be
out
getting
what
that sawbuck anytime soon, TC.
I have to find out what some of these things mean before I can really answer it.
He would never saw a buck in half. Are you kidding me? If you did, what would that be?
A fin.
That'll be 50 cents.
He was thinking of sawbuck. No. Sawbuck is $10. He's right.
Oh, he's right. I'm sorry. Then I'm a moron. I
Quincy,
apologize.
nice going.
A double sawbuck is a 20.
You got a double saw.
I was just teasing you. You thought you knew nothing about money.
A little bit, but that's about it.
Oh, okay, yeah, but you're not going to give me the $5 or whatever it is.
But I had to find a little bit more about what.
You know what you need? You need tree fitty. Tree fitty.
Maybe I'll get it, and I'll find out who it is.
Tooth fairy should bring it to you.
Yeah, you don't have teeth falling out of your head. Put it under your pillow. Use the window caulking, and grab the tooth fairy when she's him coming in and grabbing your dirty tooth.
Shake her by the ankles. All those
Say, listen,
coins.
listen,
Come on, baby, more
listen,
coin.
toots. All right? And you got all this coin in here going to little kids. Listen, I drop at least 2 or 3 teeth a year, and you ain't getting squat for it.
Depending on what age I get, then you start to.
It doesn't matter what age a tooth can fall out at any age unless you're an infant because you don't have teeth yet.
Like I said, it all depends on the age.
Okay.
So then the tooth fairy will come, but then when you get to a certain age later,
what do you think the tooth fairy's name is?
Yeah.
All depends on what you want your name to be or his name. For a girl, it's a guy.
I like the fact that you said he or she. That's very progressive.
So what would you name your tooth fairy?
Yeah.
I know. That's a good question.
Barabbas?
No.
Whoa.
No.
How about Teeth Brody?
No, because Teeth Brody is a he.
Or Jaws?
And besides, the wife of Teeth Brody was always like, Martin. Always, the only good thing I can figure out about Teeth Brody was in the fourth one when she drove the boat after.
Since you brought it up, I might as well bring this up. Last week was the 50th anniversary of Jaws.
It was.
And I was scouring YouTube, watching Jaws videos and whatnot. And they had a recent interview with Lorraine Gary, who played Mrs. Brody.
Mrs. Brody, yeah.
And it was hosted by Mankiewicz, the guy who does all the classic movies. Ben Mankiewicz. She did not like Roy Scheider or Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah, you hear all that.
She said Richard Dreyfuss was kind of obnoxious and Roy Scheider was kind of a dick. She didn't come out and say in those exact words, but she had a crush on Robert Shaw.
Well, I imagine. He's the alpha male.
And the only time their paths crossed in that movie was that one scene. Hey, Chief, I see you got your rubbers.
Yeah.
That was it. But yeah, she did not like, even though she did 2 movies with Roy.
That's right, yeah.
She did not like Roy at all.
Well, everyone has their own.
All the questions probably going to remain forever. Why did she not like Chief Brody?
Because he was probably an asshole. End of story.
Or listen, I found this with a lot of broads, okay? If you don't take a shine to them the right way, they just hate you.
Or her husband's name was Sid Sheinberg.
Well, there you go.
So,
But they like it when, like, you know, they want the guy to fall all over them.
wouldn't you, as the actors, kiss her ass because her husband owns Universal
Now,
Studios?
I didn't know that. I mean, okay, but right there, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah. Either that, or they're like, the husband was like, don't worry about it. You know, it's a boys' club. It was a boys' club back in those days.
Or some other actress probably had it, and then he just put his 2 cents in. No, my wife needs this job.
That's true, too, yeah.
You know, it could have been like, Angie Dickinson or something.
Yeah,
back
maybe
in
it
the
was
day.
Roy's side piece wanted that role.
Ah.
And she didn't get it because Lorraine Gary's husband.
Who do you think Roy Scheider's side piece would have been back in 1974?
Diane Cannon.
Diane Cannon.
Smoke show. Dime.
Well, she was in Caddyshack, too.
Yeah, I don't care what she was in. I love when she's on Johnny Carson because
He actually dated her a couple
I'm telling you,
times.
he makes her laugh. She'd had a great laugh. I like women who can laugh, TC. Quincy. I mean,
Well, yeah.
I'm looking at him, but I'm talking to you.
Need it. Well, you need that woman and guys who laugh because we provide laughter ourselves.
But you don't understand. Sometimes when a woman laughs, it means a lot more than that she finds you funny.
Well, she's nuts. Well, she's nuts.
Nothing wrong with a little nuts either. Crazy
That's
is
what she
good.
said.
Crazy is sexy sometimes.
I remember that book, Crazy, Sexy, Cool.
I don't, but
And
I'll tell you right now. There was an album by the TLC, Crazy, Sexy, Cool.
Wow.
Don't go jumping waterfalls.
This book came out in like the mid 1990s, and it had all the sexy celebrities at the time in there.
Yeah.
And I just remember one one picture in there. It was a picture of Elizabeth Shue naked hugging a dog.
Oh, naked, huh?
Naked, yeah. I bet you could look it up on your little Google machine and see
What
Elizabeth.
book was this?
Crazy, Sexy, Cool.
Oh. Well, we're going to have to look that up.
All right, I mean, you don't see. She's not sitting.
But still, it's kind of hot, though.
But it's a side shot.
Not that I'm into bestiality. That's our friend on the West Coast.
You got side boob and her looking very sultry, holding this like dog.
I like that.
So do I. I had a poster of it in my house.
That's
I think-
cool.
I think I still do in the back of a door. I could probably,
I bet you do.
I will probably. You know what? I'm going to go home and try to see if I
He
have
hasn't
it
closed
still.
that door in 40 years. So.
No, I haven't.
There she is. Swing.
It's kind of like Quincy's wallet. Okay. Unbelievable.
That's interesting, though.
It
But,
is.
but like, so take it with a grain of salt when women say
I
that.
can't. I have to
That's
watch
right.
my sodium.
Oh, by the way, how's that going?
My A1C.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know yet because we haven't had a blood test.
Yeah.
But I went to see my cardiologist.
Yeah.
And I have dropped 9 LBS
Hey.
in 13 days.
That's great. And how do you feel?
No different.
You feel a little better because your eyes are a little brighter.
Okay.
Now, is everybody wishing you luck and everything besides me? I mean, I'm a big supporter.
I don't care about that crap.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Okay, well, geez, maybe I shouldn't play this for you, this voicemail that I got.
Well, maybe we'll hear this one.
All right, let's just see then, okay?
All right, let's hear it.
So the little bird told some people that what you're going through.
Right.
And I got a voicemail. Let's see.
Let's hear it.
Hey, TC, it's the Donald. I heard your recent news about your A1C, and I want you to know I believe in you and want to see you healthy. Please keep me posted on your progress, and you've got a great team behind you in Ricky Bittman and Quincy Briscoe. You got this, pal. God bless TC.
Wow, that's an honor
Now,
right there.
what the hell you think of that?
That's the President of the United States.
All right.
He said your name.
That's very honoring. Very, very honoring. To think, well, I got
He's worried about the boss.
well, let's level with something. The reason, I guess, for me.
Let's first ask TC what he thinks.
Okay, get, and then I'll give you my
I'm kind of speechless here, but I was waiting from the end, when I take my pills, because they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Isn't that great?
I love it.
I want that on a T-shirt.
Well, they've already changed the MAGA hats, and they have that on it now.
I'm telling you.
Right.
But he's right.
Right? No, they are right.
And you know what? And I just want to say one thing about that. Not that we're going to go too political, but the stuff that they're saying, but how dare he use that kind of language? Did you see the language that was on some of those signs at the No Kings protests?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, come on. I was even like, are you people kidding me? And then they had his head cut off by that ugly actress that looked like Carrot Top there. I mean, it's
well, maybe he's maybe like where at least how I got to know him as the apprentice. But then he became like this.
Okay.
Maybe he started to put two ingredients back together in one another. At least that's how I first started to get to know Mr. Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
From the apprentice, then the celebrity apprentice.
Now we're talking.
And then maybe
Hey,
now.
Quincy, you're fired.
Toot your own horn. That's what Donald Trump used to always say on The Apprentice.
First time I ever saw Donald Trump was on the Morton Downey Jr. show.
Really?
Right.
Yeah. I used to love that show.
And then, of course, at WrestleMania 4 and 5.
That's right. When one of his kids picked up the foam rubber finger that was like the finger was torn off, and he starts waving it, and Trump looks at him and just goes, and he threw it back down on the ground. Me and my buddies were watching, and we just focused on that.
Well, that's great that the commander-in-chief is giving me his positive outlook.
You know what I got to look for in my cool stuff I own? I got a talking Donald Trump doll.
Do you?
Yes, and it came out around the time of The Apprentice, and he has his little catchphrase.
Is it like a Pee Wee Herman doll?
No, it's like a G.I. Joe, that kind of an action figure. It's not
Okay.
like a stuffed doll or anything. It's good quality. And I got about 3 of them, I think, put away in storage.
Wow.
But I have one that I opened, and the others are mint in box. Imagine getting him signed that. That'd be pretty cool.
He's actually very personal if you can get near him.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Bill Maher went to see him, and, Bill Maher said, a crazy man does not live in the White House. At least the night I was there, that was the case. So I like Bill Maher.
Do they have a Melania doll?
They might. She's a pretty woman.
She is a very pretty. I'd say probably the hottest first lady we've ever had.
Oh, yeah. No question.
Other than maybe Martha Washington or something.
Yeah,
but,
you never get to see much of her.
Well, she had wooden teeth.
Plus Martha. I mean, how hot can she be?
I can't think of one hot Martha.
No, the only one I can think is Martha Plimpton, and she wasn't that
No,
hot.
God, no.
Yeah.
Or Martha Ray.
Yeah, well, maybe back in the day, maybe. I don't know.
You think?
I don't know.
I gotta have fun with this. And
What is
as long
this?
as we're on that name,
What?
as long as we're on that particular name, can I do my
Well, actually,
opening?
no, there is, before you said it, there is a cute one. Martha Quinn.
Yeah, she was a doll. Yeah.
Right.
That's who you were going to say, right?
No.
Oh, who?
I think my good friend over here knows where.
No, I don't. So go ahead. The floor is yours.
Eat your heart out, Martha Stewart. And you know what the rest of that line
That was
was.
from your barbecue
That's
from
right,
22 years ago, which you can find on our YouTube page, youtube.com/afterhours. Just type in Quincy's barbecue. And
I should share that for 4th of July.
You should.
Yeah.
In other words, and it was true. I can remember, it's like
Yeah,
yesterday.
but Martha Stewart is not attractive, Quincy.
Of course she's not attractive. In other
Well,
words,
we were saying who is an attractive Martha, and Martha Stewart is not.
No.
Maybe her bank account is attractive, but maybe some of the shit she cooks may be attractive. But what is that noise coming
Yeah.
out of you?
It sounds like a dog's under the table stabbed with a hot fork.
Listen, what's under the table there? Do you have the Fido under there? What's going on here? What is that hum?
maybe a key.
No, it's you.
You said, is it like a metal object?
It's coming from like your throat.
A metal object. What do we have? Like a TSA metal detector in here?
No, it's
Just
like
a key.
you want to say something, and you're going,
A key.
isn't that what it sounds
It
like?
sounds, yeah.
It's a key.
It's a key?
Yeah, so when I lose it.
What do you, no, the key doesn't make that noise, Quincy. You sound like
We're not talking jingle jangle here.
Seriously, what is it?
Yeah.
Are you possessed? What's going
We're
on?
worried
I'm not
about you.
possessed.
All right, fine. Well, it happens again. Is there a bee somewhere in you?
Do you have a bee in your bonnet?
No, I don't have a bee in my bonnet. No,
All right, but if it comes up again, we're going to point it out to you, all right?
but I gotta have fun with this. Eat your heart out, Martha Stewart. My barbecue is gonna be the best the world's ever seen. But the thing about Martha Stewart, from what I learned, she never stood behind half of her products. She has her name and picture on a can of paint, but I got rumors that sometimes that she was doing like a living room display, and she was doing some other kind of product and project. Something went wrong, and then someone tried to sue Martha Stewart. Okay, it's like you're supposed to stand behind your product and whatever it is that you're trying to
You
do.
learned that from watching the soap episode of the Brady Bunch.
No,
Yeah, you did.
We're talking about Martha. That was way long after the Brady Bunch.
You know Martha Stewart went to jail, right?
Yeah. In other
For
words,
what? I can remember that, but can you remember what she went to jail for?
Wasn't it something she didn't pay taxes
yeah,
or
it
something?
was something fiscal.
Which happens on July 1st.
Exactly. Now, so you're saying you feel sort of let down by the fact that certain celebrities may be Disingenuous?
No.
I got news for you. They all are. They're all a bunch of liars.
What is that? Just a fancy word for liars, disingenuous?
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly
You
what
know what I'm
it
going to
is.
start calling you, Quincy? Wheezy.
Yeah.
What? I mean, seriously. I mean, do you inhale too much asbestos this week? What's going on? I mean, I don't want to keep bringing this up, but our listeners are probably like, they have feedback going on at the podcast penthouse.
Yeah.
No, it's just Quincy making this odd noise. What is that?
I don't find any noise.
Well, maybe you don't hear it. Wait a minute. You don't have your batteries on your hearing aids aren't turned up too high, are they?
They're not battery operated. They're charged.
All right, fine. Well, you're making these odd noises. I don't know how you don't hear them and you can't.
You're very creaky for a creaky old man.
You think it's the humidity or something?
I don't know, maybe.
All right, well, fine.
I'm not going to dwell on my age.
We're not dwelling on your age. We're just dwelling on your hum.
My hub.
I'm gonna be
H-U-M.
60 in a few weeks, so you can yell at
July
me.
18th is
Yeah.
his birthday.
Yeah.
Better not forget it, Quincy, like you forget everybody else.
Screaming Jay Hawkins was born on July 18th, too.
What about humming Quincy Briscoe over
Yeah,
there?
humming Quincy Briscoe, steaming, screaming Jay Hawkins. Hey, circling back to the Donald, one of his catchphrases was "toot your own horn."
Toot your own horn.
And can I do that for a second?
Go right ahead.
All right, listen.
Toot your own horn.
I never heard him say toot your own horn.
Toot your own horn, and he's right. But I want to
Did he
toot
say
my
that
own.
in politics?
Jesus.
Let the man speak, Briscoe.
Well, you brought up a good...
I'm going to toot my horn.
I never heard all the times of just Donald Trump. I never heard him say toot your own horn.
Well, when I bring my talking Trump doll in, I'll prove it to you.
Okay.
All right?
You go over there and stand over there and hum. Let him talk.
I've been revisiting old episodes of the Jukebox. And do you believe the Jukebox debuted on March 10th, 2021?
It's 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost
Isn't that
4.5.
amazing? Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I started listening from the beginning. And I'm at episode 4. I'm going to tell you everyone right now. Episode 1, 2, and 3, horrible.
Don't listen to him.
No. Episode 4, I finally figured out. If someone had said to me, what should I start with? I'd say, the St. Patrick's Day special or something. But know what? It was episode 4 is when I hit my stride. Because you had given me Galen at that point. He was one of the interns down here.
He graduated to become your producer.
He became my producer. That was the first episode to include Galen Santopadre. And that is when the episodes took a big time turn. I was much more comfortable in it. So what I'm trying to say is it only took me 4 episodes to hit my stride. And when I listen to these old episodes of the Jukebox, I really am so proud of them.
You should be.
And I really wish I could get that back. And it's something that's really missing. Now, on the social webs out there, I know Doug noticed this, I kind of alluded to something coming back. And what I'm going to do is, and I know this is going to be a big letdown to Doug, because Doug still seems to think that the Jukebox is going to come back like it was. And that's never going to happen unless Spotify changes everything. But I don't see that happening. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to share the playlist from each episode. So in other words, every episode I played about 10 songs.
Correct.
So I'll share a playlist via Facebook, and I'll talk a little bit about this episode.
Is it via or via?
I say via.
All right.
So I'll do that. And so we're going to kind of bring the Jukebox back a little bit that way. And I'm going to tell people, go back to this episode because this is the one that did this. And so I'm kind of trying to reintroduce people the way I am. And I'll tell you right now, the other day I actually cracked myself up. I'm driving along and I'm talking to Galen and everything. And I'm listening to this. And Galen's in the studio and we're going back and forth. And I started choking. And I said, something went down the wrong pipe, Galen. And then I just said, how many pipes do I have in my throat, Galen? That something goes down the wrong one. And I just cracked myself up.
Unbelievable.
I did my dice imitation.
Of course.
And I made myself laugh.
You should.
So listen, all I want to say is I'm very happy to have the legacy of the Ricky Bittman's Jukebox out there. So people, go back and listen to some episodes. TC gets mentioned in everyone. You get mentioned in all the
Exclusively on Spotify.
Exclusively on Spotify. And now you want to know what Galen is up to?
What is Galen up to these
Galen
days?
is now managing a band out of Myrna, Kentucky.
Myrna, Kentucky.
It's a bluegrass trio of albinos.
Wow.
They're all albinos, and they are called Slipper Hiss.
Slipper Hiss.
Yeah. So I said to him, what's that all about? He says, my mother would get up in the morning. She used to shuffle around the kitchen. And he was like, what's that noise? And his father said, that's your mother, the slipper, the hiss. So he was saying that the slippers hiss.
I'm going to start a band. It's called Quincy Hum.
Yeah, Quincy Hum, Slipper Hiss.
Maybe they can have a duo show.
And he's doing well with this band, and he says they should be breaking around.
What was the name of that town again in Kentucky?
Myrna, Kentucky, and this band will be. Says you probably start hearing from them around August of this year. So keep your fingers crossed for that.
Well, will they be making an appearance if you bring back the jukebox?
Of course, absolutely, 100%. But like I said, it's just with the the remunerations out there on Spotify.
It's a big word. It's a big word.
The artist getting a penny. I just figured Spotify just looked at it, says every time one of these guys who does a music podcast plays a song, we got to pay a penny to somebody. So they figured, well, how can we cut back on these pennies? Well, we'll get rid of all the music options on the podcast. So.
Okay, so getting back to something I talked about when I got your pen.
Yeah.
I asked you a trivia question.
Oh, shit, yeah.
What was the name of the restaurant that classy Freddie Blassie and Andy Kaufman had breakfast in?
The Great Sambo's Restaurant.
Sambo's.
Not much with this menu. Looks like something a kid would color. Coloring book.
Now, they would never name a restaurant
No.
these days.
And, the funny thing is, it's not really a derogatory term. It's just the way people stole it. Did you ever hear the story of Sambo?
I have not, no.
Sambo, from what I understand, it was an African fairy tale or what's the word?
Folklore?
Something like that, where from what I remember.
A yarn?
Yes, it was just about a little black kid who lived in the jungle, and maybe it was India, because there's a tiger in the story. And they would say the tigers aren't in Africa, they're in India. But at any rate, listen, this little kid was getting chased by a tiger, and somehow the kid made the tiger run around a tree 1,000,000 times or something like that, and he turned into a puddle of butter, the tiger. And again, it's supposed to have some message, but the little boy was named Sambo. That's all. That was his name.
So how do they go from making a tiger melt to butter to naming it into a restaurant?
Well, a guy probably, there was I don't even think there was a black person associated with the logo or anything. It was just Sambo's. And some guy probably said he liked it.
They were around here in this area,
But
too.
what happened was somebody was trying to insult a black guy and said, "Hey, Sambo." And then boom, it just grew from there.
That was it.
And it's just,
I just found it interesting.
Yeah.
That was the that was a bit of trivia. It was like, maybe
Sambo's.
people probably didn't know the name. They didn't catch the name of the restaurant.
but and that was probably around the time when it started getting a little negative about the name of the restaurant.
I remember Sambo's when I was a kid. There was one in Stoneham.
Yeah, but it was probably right around the time the buzz started, and Kaufman said, "Oh, I know where we're going to have it. We're going to have it at Sambo's."
Because that was probably circa 1981, 2.
I would say, I originally was going to say 81, so you're probably right.
Right, because he died in 84.
Yeah.
So and Vince McMahon probably wouldn't have let Freddie Blassie do that.
That's true too. Yeah.
Vince McMahon Sr.
Yeah.
So that's probably when it happened.
Yeah. Great movie though, because the
the production quality was horrible, but it was just
so hilarious.
It was funny. It was great.
I remember laughing so hard when Zamuda pulled those things in Blassie's reaction, and then when he did start throwing up, the way Blassie stood up, and then he goes, "Jesus Christ, that's a bloody one!" When he pulled the stuff out of his nose, and people would say to me, "This isn't funny," but you know what? It was.
Of course, it was.
Now, are you familiar with I'm From Hollywood? That's also out on.
I have not seen that one yet.
Dude, you gotta watch that tonight. You got to watch that tonight. I'm From Hollywood. I believe that is also on Tubi.
Is that the one where he's going the Memphis thing? This is soap,
Yeah. But they show all the clips.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah. Now, this is soap, not soap.
Well, actually, you know what? Because my brain is on mute over here because I'm hearing humming. He was selling the neck injury from Jerry Lawler, so that would have been 1982.
Oh, there you go. Right. Okay. Yeah, that's right. That's a good way to put it. But watch I'm From Hollywood.
I definitely will.
Zamuda plays his lawyer. They're sitting by a pool. And, Kaufman didn't have a pool or a Hollywood home. You could tell they were at a Holiday Inn or something like that. And they're trying to make it look like his home. And he goes, "I make a lot of money, Mr. Lawler, a lot of money." And he goes, "How big are you, Lawler?" And he goes, "And how much do you weigh?" And Zamuda's giving him all these statistics. So they bring in a woman who's taller and weighs more than Lawler. And, of course, Kaufman wrestles her into submission, then bangs her head off the concrete and everything. And you can hear Zamuda go, "Andy, I think you hurt her." He goes, "I don't care. She's poor. What do I care?"
So he was kind of doing Ted DiBiase before Ted DiBiase.
Yes, it's I'm From Hollywood and My Breakfast with Blassie. If I owned a drive-in, that would be my debut opening night double feature right there.
There you go. There's a lot of hidden gems on Tubi.
See?
Literally, every night I scour there and try to find stuff.
I love Tubi. It is the absolute best, and it's gaining ground. Okay, it's gaining ground. I have a feeling they're going to go big though someday. They're probably going to sell to someone else, and their library will get lost or something. I don't know, but I hope that's not.
Well,
the
for
case.
right now, you can watch it anytime you like, unless you're living with Ricky Bitt.
Yeah, it's still. I mean, God bless you, Doug. Doug Palumbo was grilling me today. He really wants to get to the bottom of this, and I said I have nothing to offer other than it's playing today. No, wait a minute. So today's Thursday, which means it wouldn't play tomorrow. No, so it won't play today. So it will play Friday. It won't play Saturday. It will play Sunday, so I can watch my
TJ Hooker.
TJ Hooker on Highway to Heaven on Sunday night.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Double features on Sunday nights now.
Wow. You know what I discovered on there is the movie Malibu Express,
Oh, great movie. I mean, I got it. Jeez, that goes way back.
1985.
Oh, did you see it in the theater or something?
No, because it had a DeLorean in it. It was a red DeLorean.
That's right.
It was about this guy who looked like Magnum TA.
Okay.
And he was a detective and had all Playboy playmates running around. It was Sybil Danning, showing off her knockers. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I remember that it came out in 1985 and it had a red DeLorean, and I saw it on HBO and whatnot. And I was like, okay, they show plenty of boobies in this movie.
And that's what's great about it.
And I'm going to watch. And there's still boobies on Tubi.
Boobies on Tubi. Maybe they should change it to Booby.
There's boobies on Tubi.
Look at like all of a sudden I just opened it now and it's recommending something that I would watch.
Is it
And
Malibu Express?
It's a documentary on Susie Quattro. I mean, where else are you going to see that?
Her birthday just happened.
Really?
She's like 70-something now.
I'm trying to look at who else is in it. Alice Cooper is also in it, but I mean, why is that? I mean, that's the beauty of it?
You think she sings the Fonzie in it?
If she's smart, I'm sure they talk about that. I mean, just look at the stuff. I wanted to just read off some of the
Susie
things.
Quattro. You know who Susie Quattro is, Quincy?
Oh, yeah. Tell me, who's Susan Quattro?
Leather Tuscadero.
Yeah, Happy
Really?
Days expert. Happy
That
Days.
is so awesome. We'll do the Fonzie. Come on, do the Fonzie with me. There you go. I take it she does one of the singers that does the Fonzie.
She is the only person.
She is the singer
who
who
does the
That's
Fonzie.
so awesome. So very unique.
With, of course, Richie in the band backing up, which was ridiculous. But
Yeah, horrible.
it was kind of like that thing when Vince McMahon sang Stand Back, and it had Randy Savage, Jake the Snake, and Brutus Beefcake on trumpets.
Oh God, remember that? What was the name of this movie again? With the guy that looked like Magnum TA?
Malibu Express.
Okay. These are some of the things I have on my list saved. I have the movie Borderline with Charles Bronson, Hat Tip Eric Todd, Final Justice starring Joe Don Baker, Mitchell starring Joe Don Baker.
Joe Don Baker just died.
He did, yeah.
Right.
Jack Reed starring,
Joe Don Baker?
no, what's the guy? Brian Dennehy. A Father's Revenge starring Brian Dennehy. Malibu High.
Oh, no,
You had
no.
Malibu Express.
Malibu Express.
Then I have from the 70s, Cheerleaders and Squeeze Play, which they used to show at the drive in all these cheesecake movies and things like that. That's the stuff I save. Loads of Flatbushes out there.
With the Fonz.
Yep. And Sylvester Stallone. Some great martial arts films. And listen, anything and anything. There's another show called After Porn Ends.
See, this is the problem with that.
You've seen it 500 times.
Right, Speaking of that, we had a tip. Have the tip I had. Glenn maybe called me up. Our good friend Glenn.
What's up?
And said, "Yeah, I mean, next. That's not Glenn. That's Jeff's voice.
Yeah.
No, Glenn says, yeah. And next time you're doing a podcast, mention that Paul Thomas passed away.
Wow, that's big.
PT.
Yeah, jeez.
He looked like Ted Danson.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he had a little Ted Danson-ish there. I remember him.
Yeah, Paul Thomas. He became like an acclaimed porno director.
Yeah,
He
not
was
the
actually-
director of Boogie Nights.
No,
A lot
that's
of people-
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, a lot of people make that confusion.
No, this is
yeah.
Paul Thomas.
Yeah.
He was in the first movie I
He
ever saw.
segued from stardom into the directing behind
Right,
the camera. I
right.
remember that dude.
Paul Thomas.
Well, may he rest in peace.
May PT rest in peace.
Speaking of that, in that vein, remember the other day when I texted you about Princess Cheyenne?
Yes.
Okay. I made a mistake. She is involved with the fan page. She posted there, but I had to approve it.
Ah.
So when I was looking at the approval page, things that needed to be approved. Then when I went back to the page and I said, it's gone, she took it down. But then the next day I was like, wait a minute, she is there. So I accepted it, I approved it, and we've been talking back and forth.
So Princess Cheyenne, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, was a stripper
Yeah.
in the combat zone
Probably
in
one
Boston.
of the most famous. She's like up there with Lily St. Cyr back in the 50s. Princess Cheyenne was to Boston in the 70s.
70s,
Yeah, and
right.
To a degree, the early 80s.
Wow, that's a tip of the hat to the fan page out there.
Well, I
that-
tried to ask her how she came across it, and she said just scrolling. So she just stumbled upon us, like I like to say.
There you go.
So she's now a member of the fan page. I've interacted with her a couple times. Didn't want to overdo it, but here's the funny thing. I said to her, wow, is this really you? Underneath, she posted a picture of the cover of her book
Right.
on our fan page. That's what I had to approve. So I said, wow, is this really you? And her real name is Lucy Wright. That's who she's posting, and I don't think that's not a secret. She posts under that name. And she goes, well, it used to be. So I was like, what does she mean by that? And I'm like, oh, she thinks I'm talking about the picture. Like, oh, is that really you? And she started, I said, no, what I mean, I try to get in touch with her and say, no, what I meant is this really Princess Cheyenne posting on our page? She goes, yes, it is. So she sees
Well,
our
you
stuff.
should ask her, off the record, if she ever worked at the Naked Eye.
Oh, I know.
She must have. and send her a picture of Bull.
You send me a good picture of Bull and I'll send it to her.
Right.
All right.
Because I'll send one from a couple, maybe I have one from 20 years ago.
Because if she knows him, maybe we can get her to call in or something.
Well, maybe if we ever start the TV version up again, we can
come in.
Is she still around here?
Oh, absolutely. She was down on the Cape today, so she's like, summer's begun, so she's down in Orleans, Mass. She's definitely local. The book just came out. She did a nice interview with the Boston Globe, who gave the book rave reviews. And I'm sorry, right now I have to spend time scrolling. I don't want to do that. I'll get the name of the book and I'll share it again on Facebook.
Well, we'll try to. Maybe we should do a review of the book. You're a good book reader.
Yeah, no, I'm going to definitely check it out.
I would love that. I mean, that's a legend.
Yeah.
A legend.
And she was so beautiful, and she still is. She's like, she's Princess Cheyenne. No matter how you slice
I only
it.
heard about her when I was very young, and I remember the Boston Phoenix and whatnot.
Yep.
I remember people mentioning her in there, and then of course I knew Bull from the Naked Eye. Cheyenne, I knew Cheyenne.
I'm telling you, when I was a kid, and it's just this little black and white clip in the lower right-hand corner of the Boston Herald or the Boston Globe page, just the name alone, Princess Cheyenne, I'm like, oh, she's so beautiful.
Ask her if she. This is something only people in the Boston area would appreciate. Norm Nathan, remember him from WBZ?
Yeah.
One of my broadcast radio heroes.
Yep.
He used to have all the time, because he used to work the midnight shift at WBZ on Friday nights and Saturday nights. And Norm was this awesome old guy.
Yep.
Who would do things outside the box. And he would bring in from time to time strippers from the Naked Eye.
Well, she had to.
So he must have somewhere. I mean, down the line. I mean, I was listening to him in probably the late '80s, early '90s. So I don't know when Princess Cheyenne retired from the industry. But Norm was a Boston fixture on radio since the '50s.
Yeah.
So he must have had her somewhere down the line.
I would say this is a good chance. I'll send her a message.
Yeah, just saying, because that I remember listening to Norm, and he always used to do this. He used to do a thing called the dumb birthday game.
Yeah.
Where he every night he was on, he would have a list of celebrities, and it was their birthday. So like on July 18th, we're going to be celebrating. Here we go. This is Ricky Bittman's birthday. So Quincy, how old do you think Ricky Bittman's going to be? And he would go around the panel and get everybody's age, and whoever came the closest or nailed it would win that.
Oh, that's cool.
The dumb birthday game.
Oh, that's cool.
I was on there many times.
Did you ever win?
I never won. No, I never won.
Not easy to win those.
It was not, but I'm just saying that he used to bring the strippers in. He would have, the stripper or the guy who did the traffic, his producer, and then a couple random, let's go. Bill from Wakefield is going to be one of the contestants tonight.
Oh, great, huh?
And it was just awesome listening to that.
Yeah.
The thing about Norm Nathan and George Rich, weren't they fun in the soap opera Update?
Oh, yeah.
The two of them put together, it was just a good comedy team of this tonight on Soap Opera Update. The two of them come in and they would comment on it, and they even had the teen canteen kids come on and either that they hate it or they liked it, one or the other.
Like sand through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
I can't wait to the next episode of Teen Canteen.
Well, those were the days of Soap Opera Update with Jordan Rich and Norm Nathan.
You mentioned Jordan Rich a lot on this show.
Well, he was a guest on this
Well,
program.
that's because the two of them.
No. You love him. You love him.
Because I started to learn a little bit about radio when I was younger in those days. And it started with Jordan Rich and Norm Nathan. And it started, and the two of them were just put together in something called the Soap Opera
Magic
Update.
happens.
Magic. You can do magic.
Yeah.
Is she yelling at us, or is she like that?
I have no idea.
And they play songs like that with America, and I was just a young kid, and they would play the Soap Opera Update.
That's fantastic. It is, because I actually go on YouTube and try to find old clips of radio shows that I listened to back in the day. And you're not wrong.
Well, he did many things, and that was one of them.
It is.
We got to find those.
We have to find those people.
I like digging up old episodes of Paul Harvey.
And that's, what was his,
The rest of the story.
the rest of the story. I was going to say, that's the way it is. That was Walter Cronkite.
He had a summer home, like his on like a lakeside or something, and he called it Reveille. I used to love that. We'll be spending the summer up at Reveille.
Not like the Kingdom of Nye for Art Bell.
That's good. And I used to wonder what that meant, and then I started watching On Patrol Live, Nye County, NYE. That's what the Kingdom of Nye is. Around in Pahrump, Nevada.
Well, you should. You lived there for a while.
I did, yeah. But that's when I was like,
Did you ever run into Art?
of course I did. Yeah, no, God and I had many chit chats and face to face. Matter of fact,
Really?
Yeah, a couple of them on. As he got older, I mean, I'd have to stand on one side of the fence.
Was
but-
this before, obviously it was before Ramona died.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she would always be scurrying around somewhere, afraid of the light. But I'd run into him at Lovato Brothers every now and then, where you get the good provolone cheese. One of my whole episode of Ricky Bittman's Jukebox was dedicated to that provolone cheese.
Was Art Bell brought up?
What's that?
Was he brought up in that episode?
Oh, of course he was. Yeah, I mean, Lovato Brothers, they're a staple on Pahrump. So,
Never been.
Huh?
I've never been to Pahrump.
Well, I mean, I was out there because I kept an eye on the
You figure
stars.
I was out in Vegas a bunch, but I never really left.
You had
Vegas.
I was watching a different set of light.
I wish I was watching those lights.
Well, you liked the glitz and the glam.
True.
Yeah, but for a while, I remember I was chasing things through. I remember I called on a buddy Glenn. I called on his show one night when I was getting chased.
Really.
Yeah, almost like that episode of Art Bell. Very similar to that, as a matter of fact. Yeah. One of the best ever. Remember the Spotify playlist I showed you?
That's right.
Art Bell bumper music. I
The
listened to that
Chase from
quite
the
often.
Midnight Express.
Giorgio Moroder. Yeah, good music.
Wait a minute. Wasn't Bobby Eaton?
The Midnight Express.
Love that. I love that theme song. That's probably one of the greatest radio
Gary
theme songs.
Capetta really lent something to those
Gary
intros.
Michael Capetta.
Yeah, that's right. Remember he dropped that though? Oh no, he was Gary Capetta. Then he added the Michael, or was he Michael and then whatever?
I believe I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Honestly, I don't know.
I remember like whenever he would go, and I'm the ring announcer, Gary Michael Capetta, and then you'd hear boo. They would boo him.
It was better than Joe McHugh.
That's true. Nothing will ever beat the Fink though.
No, nothing will ever be fake.
Speaking of Finks, Mark Hamill, huh?
What did he do Fink on now?
Somebody posted. Jesus, did
He's
somebody
a
send-
Fink.
Oh, the sign on his table. He did a Comic-Con or whatever.
Oh, the $700 for his autograph?
Now, help me with this now. 'cause
I will definitely
an
try to help
autograph.
you with this.
Okay, an 8x10, $400. I know what an 8x10 is. So it's an 8x10 picture of him or a scene from the movie. He'll sign that for $400. Now, does he personalize or does it have to be personalized?
I think
Do you
that
know?
may be extra.
Okay. So if you wanted a 2 TC, you'd pay extra?
I wouldn't get it. I already got him for free when I interviewed him.
But I'm just saying, like,
no, I would not. See, that was the last Comic-Con we went to with Jeff,
Yeah.
which was Chiller in October of last year.
Right.
He wanted to get Corey Feldman signed on his Friday
Right.
the 13th machete. Now, if Corey Feldman just signed his name, it was a ridiculous amount of money. But if he personalized it, it was like $100 cheaper. Because he didn't want people scanning his name or whatnot. It's like he's like, there's no personalization on my machete from anybody. But I had to stoop so low because he's asking some ridiculous amount of money for Corey Feldman.
that's weird.
So yeah, Mark Hamill, I saw that. It was like $400.
Oh, I got the prices now.
yeah,
So that's
you read them off there.
yeah. Premium,
Premium.
$500. What the hell's a premium?
I know the next thing. The next thing is bulk, right?
Yeah, I was saving that for the end.
Okay, premium. Maybe a poster or an 11x14.
So bigger piece.
Bigger piece than
flat piece.
bigger than an 8x10.
Okay.
Right.
Now, bulky.
A lightsaber.
A Vader helmet or
a
a Stormtrooper
figure.
helmet.
Something stupid like that.
Bulky. So why would it be $300 more to sign a helmet than an 8x10?
I don't know.
I have to hold it up.
He doesn't have to hold it. They have like Virgil's doing it.
So it's like, what the hell?
they're just any which way you can get more money out of somebody.
I tell you, Mark Hamill, you need a good slap right across
It's
your
not
face.
just him. I mean,
I know, but
I'll
I'm
defend him just
I'm
once.
just done.
But
I
it's
mean,
not just him.
I hit you so hard your pants will fall down. Although you don't have to do that for you, they just fall down on their own. You clown.
He's left-handed,
Good. I'll hit him on both sides of his head.
Look what they did to my hand, man.
Oh, I get it now. Jeez, I'm a little slow on the draw.
I thank God I interviewed him 30 years ago,
Yeah.
and I got everything for free.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't pay
Before he became an insane a-hole.
one red cent
Yeah.
for that guy.
Unbelievable.
No way.
Now, speaking of autographs,
Yes.
Buddy Sharpie just went out to New York City to see the stage production of Glengarry Glen Ross.
And he
I think
went and got, who was in that?
I don't think he got anyone from the show
Oh.
because I'm not sure if this guy was in the show or he was just seeing it. But it kind of, I think we kind of inspired him that night when we were talking about.
Well, his name is
autographs.
Sharpie.
That's right. Well, he didn't. I think he just got a selfie. So he and his lovely wife Carol
Change
Ann,
his name to Selfie then.
him and his lovely wife Carol Ann spied a celebrity and they chased him down and cornered him. And luckily for them, he was very nice and did pose for a selfie with them. None other than Lenny, Michael McKean, David St. Hubbins from Spinal Tap himself.
Very nice man.
Yeah.
Met
They
him a
said he was
zillion times.
Tremendously nice. And my buddy Haas, who lives he lives down in Myrtle Beach, said, did you ask him how Edna Babish's daughter's doing? And I had to think about that. Do you remember that episode?
I do not.
Okay. There was an episode of Laverne and Shirley where Edna Babish revealed that she had a special needs daughter. Now, back in those days, they could say the word mentally retarded, okay? Even now, like, I can't even hardly say it.
You whispered it.
Yeah. So she is like her daughter. Now, Lenny sees her daughter somewhere, and she's played by a very pretty actress, of course.
Who was the actress?
Yeah. Huh?
Who was the actress?
I don't know, just an unknown. But of course, it wasn't like, some, so it was a real pretty actress. And of course, Lenny took a shine to her, and Mrs. Babish like flipped out because, what's my daughter doing with him? Like, in other words, she thought Lenny was going to try something. But Lenny gave her his jacket and stuff, and she came home with the lone wolf jacket on, and Edna went crazy and all that. And Lenny couldn't understand what's going on, and Squiggy had to corner him and said to him, "Listen, there's something you got to know about her. She's a mentally retarded dummy."
Oh, man.
That's what he said. And then she hears that. She come out of the bathroom and she hears Squiggy say that. And she runs away, leaving the jacket. And then Lenny grabs Squiggy and he goes, "You know who the mentally retarded dummy is? You are!" And he ran out after her and everything. That's what I remember from the episode.
So it wasn't Jerry Jewell from Facts of Life?
No.
That's about as
It
tough
could
to-
have been. She kind of was as glamorous as what's the hot chick on that show? Yeah, exactly. Right there. There you go.
She's listening.
Yeah.
What? Oh, Blair?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of the name Blair. But anyway, they met him on the streets of New York, and they said he was very, very nice, and I was happy for them. Nice picture of them together.
Well, that's good.
Speaking of him, Spinal Tap's coming back to the theaters in July.
I've seen them like 1 or 2 episodes of The Simpsons. And they played a couple of their songs, but I guess they were for real group.
The actress is Linda Gillian.
She pretty?
No, this just says her name. And she was on an episode called The Slow Child.
The Slow Child. Oh, God help us.
Okay.
Unsensitive times. Folks, we're just repeating what was said back in the day.
Who cares? But if you're offended by that, then
know.
don't watch Tubi. But that's great. That I'm glad they took. Oh, is this her?
Exactly. Yeah, she was cute. Okay.
Yeah, she kind of looked like.
I kind of remember her being more slutty looking.
For those of you who never didn't look her up, she has a very Shelley Long look to her.
Yes, very innocent.
Right. Okay. Well, it's wonderful there.
But it was a very nice episode where it sort of ended where Mrs. Babish agreed to let Lenny dance with her.
Well, he didn't have both oars in the water either. So.
Exactly. But I think she feels like, this is my daughter, and regardless, she's still going to develop like a teenager and have feelings. So it was kind of one of those very special episodes.
On a very special episode of Laverne and Shirley.
And of course, it was the first time you ever really saw Lenny and Squiggy fight. I mean, that was serious. When he like flung Squiggy, and Squiggy like did this sort of thing where he just like, and then then they got together later in the episode and they did the old stupid, and they shook hands. Remember? They used
I
to do
remember that. Well, there's been a couple of episodes where Lee and Squeaky fight, but then they do their stupid handshake,
Wonderful.
But that's Lee and Squeaky for you.
So when they were down there, when Sharpie was down there, did they try to hunt anybody else?
No, well, if they did, it was not posted on Facebook.
Now, was
yet.
he in that play, Glengarry?
I don't think so.
Or he was just wandering around?
The funny thing is, Sharpie had this really nice Hawaiian shirt on, and Michael McKean had a Hawaiian shirt on too. It's actually kind of a funny picture. Do you mind if I take it up?
You can dig that up there. No, Jeff and I had many of our stalking trips down to New York. Met Michael McKean, and he was a very, very nice guy. And he's married to Annette O'Toole, I believe.
Really? I didn't know that.
I believe he is.
Now, and he's the last surviving member of the cast.
Well, we don't know that. Is Edna Babish's daughter still around?
Oh, that's true. Here he is. And, well, I was trying to say, Sharpie had a nice Hawaiian shirt on because him and his lovely wife, Caroline, just got back from Hawaii. And look at the shirt that Lenny's wearing. He's got a fish Hawaiian
Got a fish shirt. He looks like something. Well, he still looks like Lenny.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Want to see a picture of Lenny from Lenny and Squiggy?
Yeah, why
Now,
not?
actually, let me look. I think I know. That may have been the New York Times building behind them.
It might. They chased him down from the theater.
Well, that would be in Broadway.
That's Lenny wearing the hat. Remember Lenny?
I remember that.
Now, Glenn Ross. Let's see. I'll tell you. You might know the theater at the Palace Theater.
If I saw it, probably.
At Palace Theater, New York City. Does this entrance look familiar to you? Let's see. Strictly limited engagement. That looks like someplace you hung out back in the day.
No, actually.
Interesting.
Maybe it's a new theater.
It might be a new theater.
And maybe who's in this? This is Kieran Culkin, Bob Odenkirk, and Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bill Burr would be funny in that. A lot of swearing in that show.
Well, we're adults now.
But I think the F word is said like 10,000 times or something like that.
Really?
It's a lot.
Well, then maybe they should put a warning box. But like I said, we're adults.
Are you sure?
Are you sure we're adults?
Yeah. Are you sure
Yeah.
we're adults?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't think so, Quincy. Have you listened to any of these shows? Especially you humming over there?
Physically, I'm almost 60, but up here, I'm still in my
Grammar school?
sophomore year of high school. So that's what they were.
Well, that's very fascinating that Sharpie must have. Well, he did sit where Jeff used to sit when he was down here on the program.
That's right. Yeah.
So maybe the absorption of South
Jeff's
Boston.
spirit went inside.
Right. And he goes, I think you need to go down and meet Lenny.
Here's another funny thing that he posted. Sharpie's a great guy. He goes, he's retired now. Okay, he worked for the gas company or something, and he says slowly my wife is starting to uncover what makes me me. Because this was at early in the morning yesterday. Look what he's watching on TV. Do you know what that is?
Is that Dr. Doolittle?
Nope, that's the original Ghostbusters with Larry Storch.
Oh my
and
God!
Forrest Whitaker.
Oh,
They played
Jesus!
So he's sitting home watching that.
Larry Storch.
And his wife came in and was like, and I said, yeah, that's kind of like when my wife sees me watching TJ Hookers on Saturday, not Sunday night. So
Only if Tubi works.
exactly, well, provided.
The original Ghostbusters. I remember that stupid thing. Larry Storch. That guy lived to be like 104.
Yeah, don't ever say that around him. Him and my buddy Quick, they worship at the altar of Larry Storch.
Well, he was a very, very nice
Yeah.
guy. When we were talking to him, we were asking him about all the cartoon voices he did.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, not about F Troop or anything like, what was this, Argon or whatever his name was?
Phineas J. Whoopi. He was Phineas J. Whoopi on Texas.
That is
Tennessee,
true.
Tennessee. Phineas J. Whoopi.
Well, he started with F Troop, and then he did Finish J. Whoopi, and then he did
Is this a picture of Jim Jones
And who else?
and Ernie and Grover
Yes.
drinking Kool-Aid?
Yes.
Okay.
That's from Sharpie's Facebook page.
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
I
me
wish
see
Jeff
that.
were here for this.
And the only person, well, Ernie's smiling, and so is Jim Jones. But look at the look on Grover's
Yeah,
face.
Grover has his doubts.
let me see that after
Oh,
you're
in
through.
Sesame Street, we
Oh,
have
yeah.
to show him to him.
Look at that. That nice man serving them purple Kool-Aid. Isn't he nice? With his nice sunglasses?
That's awesome.
Isn't it?
It's an updated version of Sesame
Somebody
Street.
come and
in play.
die. Somebody come and die today.
Somebody come
and
die.
drink this rum.
And you will die when you drink the some. I had to think of something.
You think they melted
was
Grimace down for that?
It's possible, unless they just use color dye.
Or Grape Ape?
Yeah, because they color dyed it to name after Grape Ape and the Grimace.
Hey, Quincy, I'm looking at the clock. It's time to wrap this episode
Hey,
up.
before you go, one more. Can you name the 3 actors in this picture?
All right, look at this. I'm not cheating here. I'm
One of
looking-
them's going to be hot. I don't think you can do all 3.
All right, Norman Fell,
Yeah.
and that is Jerry Stiller.
The third one you're not going to get.
That's Conrad Janis.
Oh, man, he is good.
That's Conrad Janis.
Mindy's father on Mork and Mindy.
Mindy McConnell's father. His name was Fred on that show, wasn't it?
Yep, they were all in Airport 75.
I was going to say that's Airport 75. They were liquoring up because Jerry Stiller passed out the entire time on the plane.
He woke up at the very end.
Right.
Sharpie posted, Airport 75, check out these lounge lizards. Hey, honey, fill us up again.
And you know what? Because of the different people looked 100 years ago, they were probably like in their early 40s in that picture.
No question about it.
Because that would have been, what was that, Airport 75, you said?
Yeah.
So that's pre-Three's Company.
Yeah.
So, how old, now I'm curious, how the fuck old was Norman Fell in that picture?
You got to figure 1975. Let's look up.
1975. Let's
We're going to have to do
Norman
math.
Fell.
Quincy, get out your pen and your paper, okay?
Well, we knew him from the Three's Company, Norman Fell.
Right, I know, but I'm curious. That was 1975. He looks like, with the picture's on the screen right now.
Wait a minute, I can do this in my head. So 75, 5 minus 4 is 1, all right? So 7, he was 51 in that picture.
He was 51 years old in
Yeah.
that picture. He looks like he's 74.
Yeah. God,
Hard living back in those days, huh?
well, just different times, you know?
Well, all they did was probably smoke unfiltered Pall Malls and drink booze
They
all
probably
day.
ate steak for every dinner and everything. Never had a salad. Unless it was from Golden Corral.
I looked it up. He was only 23 in that commercial.
I'm 18.
I have that crouton. So whatever he said.
Crouton.
Quincy, wrap up the crouton.
Please.
Well, thank you for watching this very interesting episode of all these different celebrities. And who knows, maybe we'll come back and have another round of this. But anyway, have a safe and happy 4th of July that's coming up.
Light fuse and get away.
And remember, we never close.
Wee wee.